Hey, welcome to the show. I am here today with Haowen G. Haowen, how are you doing today?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm on the right side of the dirt, talking to people in different states from different countries, having a great time today. You run ISSA, International Student Services Association, and you are originally from China. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
But grew up mostly in the States in Cleveland. I can't say I know too many people from Cleveland or from China for that matter. So it's great to have you on the show today to talk a little bit
Thank you.
about, who you are and what it is that you do. Please share that for us. Tell us a little bit about ISSA and why you got started.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for inviting me here, Travis. And just really quick about what ISS do. International Student Service Association is a non-profit organization. We've been here almost for 5 years. So we are mainly support low-income immigrant students on career development and college planning process. We are part of a school district program. We partner with 10 school districts in Northeast Ohio and the Chicago area. And we are part of their ESL program for English second language program for to support student career development and college planning process. Our goal is really students don't know anything about career and college. After they graduated, they have everything ready to go and helping them um, prepare for their future job or colleges. So this is just really basic and simple about what we do as an organization.
Yeah, let me just recap what you said there. You help low income international students where English is a second language. You help them wade through different career options and career development, and then also figure out what university they want to attend, why that matters, and how to get through that. Does that sound right?
Yeah, and the big part is we are resource and access. We provide the resource and access to our immigrant students. A lot of a program school have it, but we provide additional support to providing something that really fit for our immigrant student or refugee student because the language barriers, their skill maybe they don't have the skill they needed for the regular support. And also we providing supporting the certification program. We even have offer certification program ourselves to providing to support them to getting the certified skill they needed to continue move on after graduation or before graduation in high school.
Yeah, that's perfect. I know how important education and certification programs are to everyday Americans, and
Right.
must be that much harder for someone that comes here not speaking English as their first language. So it's really cool that you do that and help these students get some traction in the U.S. economy and figure out what they want to do with their lives. That's really cool. But really,
Thank you.
the main reason I wanted to talk to you today is because you do something much different with your internship programs than I think a lot of organizations do. And I've talked to hundreds of nonprofit organizations, and it seems like they pretty much just take anyone that comes their way. Any board member that says yes, any volunteer that comes in there, and any intern they can get, they're just pretty much saying yes all the time. But you say that's a terrible way to do business, and you have a different methodology. What's
Right.
that different methodology?
People think of small organization and startup, like Travis, I listened to your show before. You said nonprofit is the hardest job you can do as an executive director. I listened to your show. I know that it's the hardest. Hiring is probably the hardest part in the organization. I think our difference is people think about small organizations. Hiring you just hire everybody because you really don't have no expectations. You have no choices. That's a false. So we set up a training plan in place. The structured training plan, structure expectations, and also, of course, with the heart, with the love, with the support our interns, because a lot of our interns are college students, right? They're young and they need a care, they need a connection, they need a communication. A lot of times the companies, I don't know if this is right or not. This is my opinion. I work with the big organizations before. They just really not provide this personal connection or communications, and the cost cause the intern just feel a number, right? And the field just don't care. We provide the cares, we provide the trainings, we provide the structures and the expectations, and the really students really learn a lot from this program, be able to continue to move on or continue to get promoted, working with us, make an impact for our student future.
Oh, absolutely. It's this way in the corporate world. It's a lot of this way in the military, and it's definitely prevalent in the nonprofit world. It seems like we hire for skills, and then when
Right,
the going gets tough, people quit, leave, do whatever, and they never really built that connection. It seems like no one has time to train their people. I can't imagine
right,
running an organization with a bunch of untrained people wondering why I'm not doing well. Well, you didn't train anybody.
right,
Well, what if I
right,
spend all this time training? I was like, well, imagine if you don't. You're going to have a
right,
bunch of
right.
untrained, uneducated people that don't feel like you care about them running around trying to do things for you. I mean, how engaged are they going to be? How are they going to feel? Are they going to feel part of the mission, part of the family? If you're listening to this right now and you don't have a training slash mentorship program, you need to listen up because Haowen's going to walk us through their four actually pretty tough steps to get part of an internship there. What is the first thing that people interested in an internship with ISSA, what do they need to do?
So if they're interested, first of all, they need to apply from a Hundredship, from LinkedIn, from Indeed. So we use three portals for that. But sometimes we do get a referral from a career offices in different universities in Northeast Ohio. But most of our candidates come from Indeed, LinkedIn, Handshake. But with a lot of our students come from Indeed. Indeed are really popular. I strongly recommend you use Indeed. It's really great. I'm not promoting for Indeed, by the way. It's just really great. It worked for us. It really worked for us for hiring.
So, yeah, you go through and someone's got to apply either through Indeed.com, LinkedIn. They might find you from word of mouth or be recommended your way, but definitely have to apply. And then what does the potential intern need to do?
Yeah. So when you apply Indeed, you not just put your resume in there, right? You gotta do assessment in Indeed. We have called assessment to skill assessment in Indeed. For example, use program that have called case management assessment and the writing assessment. Case management assessment really is a behavioral question. Ask you, do you be able to take care? It's like a social worker. You like what we do as a user program coordinator is intern. It's like a social worker. You gotta provide social and emotional support for providing the teaching, counselors kind of job. So people understanding when you do assessment, you understand you have basic understanding what the job looks like. Then you also do a writing assessment. Students really understanding they need a writing skills. Writing is really important to do this kind of job. We need our organization need a role model, right? Our students come from low income, low performance, refugee, come from refugee camp. They need a model. They need a role model. So that is really important for testing out their skills. Also, they need to have a 3.5 higher GPA to apply for our positions. So that is the basic things they needed to apply.
Oh, absolutely. You got to have good GPA. You've got to be able to need, or you have to be in need of a mentor. It's really interesting because the things you talk about that low income, non English speaking immigrants or refugees need, that's the same thing we need just as regular humans, right? You've
Right,
got to have someone that cares about you, that's willing to train and develop you, that's going to bring you up and really provide that mentorship because it doesn't matter how skilled you are. If you can't talk to people, are you going to be able to get anything done?
right, right, exactly.
After they apply, you do some kind of virtual interview, and then what comes next?
So after that, I'm the person because we are a small organization. I'm the person selected. We spend a lot of time every day. If you want to hire a good candidate, hire entire season, the entire year, every day looking for candidate. Even you don't have position right now, it's okay. Continue looking at it. And even if it's a really good candidate, find a position for them because you don't want to lose this candidate. So we continue to look at it. When I look at it online, we select it based on their background, their experience. Do they have bilingual skills? Do they work with the immigrant student before? and those kind of things. So another trick I tell people, okay, this is what I learned. If people tell me this is bias, oh, when you're hiring, for example, if you're Latino, you should hire another Latinos to support them because they understand each other. That's a false. So what we do is different is that we don't, if they're a Latino group, we don't try to hire as Latino, try to hire Americans, other different race from different areas, because students do. So really the problem of our immigrant student is they're stuck on group, Chinese with Chinese, Latino with Latino. We need to break that, right? So a lot of the issue come out right now because people don't understand each other from different groups. We need to put everything all together. So a lot of our students come from original American, American families, American students to work with us. So that is a big thing when I look at candidates, how different diversity pools, not just working in one group of students, one race. So that's a big thing. Then we do our first round interview. After I select that, then we go into first round interview. First round interview is really easy, just really conversational. It can take a little bit longer, 1 hour to 1 hour 30 minutes. But really talking through their life, their personal goals, get to know them. To know me, I know them. It's when the first interview, it's like you sell your stuff to them, right? They're really top students, they're really good. Why do they want to work with you? You show the vision, you show the mission. I show what do we do, I show what our intern did the last year, the internship. I'm really getting motivated with them. It's challenging, but what you can get out from the internship, capstone projects, evaluation, and show some case studies, what intern come from this intern, what they can do. And also learning about them, learning about what kind of soft skill. I'm really looking for soft skills, attitude, motivations, engagement, those kind of things you really can't train people on one day thing, right? People say I can train soft skill. It's really difficult. You can do a hard skill really easy to people do that job. But what do we do? You need a really strong people skill, soft skill. You need to have a heart, and you need to have the soft skills, communication skills, those kind of skills to lead our students. So we are looking for those kind of things for our first round interview. Do you want
Yeah,
me to keep going about? Yeah,
I
go ahead,
always
Travis.
say that if you
Sorry.
can show up with a great attitude, ready to work, you're far ahead
Right.
of most of your peers.
Right, right, exactly, Travis. So this is our first round interview. A lot of people, believe it or not, they failed the first round interview. They don't have the attitude, they don't have the energy. They just want to intern. Sure. I mean, that is not just not working. Like our internship, even paid internship, just making me a little bit more worried because sometimes people just, oh, I want to get a paycheck. Do our internship is not for a paycheck. I'm sorry. It's really just getting skill, get a train so you can make more money after this training. So
Yeah, fabulous. You've got the good virtual interview or in-person interview. You check for soft skills, which are much harder to train for than the hard skills, to see where their motivations lie, to see what kind of
right,
person they're going to be. I know
right,
for me that if you are people focused, you're more likely to align with my values than if you're money focused.
right,
If you're people
right,
focused, the money's going to come. If you're money focused, the money's
right,
never going to come.
right, right. Exactly.
So they've passed the first round of interviews. They've done
Yeah.
good. You are aligned in values. What comes next?
So next one will be we call assessment. It's a two-part of assessment. It's this assessment, the first part assessment called writing assessment. It's not the similarity with Indeed assessment, but a little bit different. Indeed assessment is more like a multiple choice questions, but this one is more like a writing and a research question. Research. Be a good youth program coordinator, internship, eventually become coordinator. You need to be able to do research. We are those people interns got to be able to creating the lesson plans, helping creating the programs. They need to learn how to be able to creating programs. So we may give them a topic talk about STEM, a career exploration. What kind of ideas you can bring to classroom? Write up some executive summary about it, the proposal about it. What's the issue you want to addressing? what kind of activity you want to talk about, that what's the outcome, really learn about how to write a proposal. Writing proposals is extremely important, helping your boss to writing grants. Grants is huge. Writing grants, learning how to do that, have basic idea. We not be able to say you want to be expert, right? 100% good at it, but you need to have basic idea about it, what needs to be on there, how to do it. And then student also will learning about how to do research. See what other people are doing, what's a nonprofit doing right now. So learning how to research this nonprofit, how to searching for keyword, how to search into similar nonprofit, like what do we do? What we can partnership with them, what kind of outreach we can do. Let them to understanding what our job look like when you're not teaching, right? Teaching is a part of your job. Another part of the job is to prepare, do lesson plan, do outreaching, right? Make our program better, communicate with other organizations. So we test a lot of the kind of skills, this kind of knowledge, how the student really understanding what that job look like. Then the second part, after the first part, then the second part will be job shadowing. I think students love job shadowing. Students actually went to a virtual or in-person workshops with us, right? To exactly explain, see what do we do everyday basis. So we also have reflection papers they gotta write about what they learn, what they gain, what they don't like, what they like about it, what kind of opinions, what kind of suggestions for us, to really understanding what the job takes. And I ask them questions sometimes, For example, last week we have interns, potential interns do an interview, job shadowing. I asked them opinion. What do you think about this essay? What do you think you can make a better at it? Right? I'm just like them engaged. They're not just shadowing. They're really supporting. They're really helping. They're really working with us at the 2 hours. So students really understanding. Oh, do I like the job or do I hate the job? If you hate the job, don't even talk. Right? This is, I want to be really direct to them. This is exactly what it is. No lies. It's all honest, all truth, right? You choose with me, I choose with you. Like no drama there, no gaming. So this is exactly we want to show students. This is two-part assessment. Then we score. The score, then we compare the scores. We choose top 3 or 4 to do a final round interview. So this is a part of what our rating assessment look like.
I like that because, so often people will get a job description, they'll apply for the job, they'll do the interview, they'll get there, they'll start the job, and the job is nothing like what was
Right,
advertised. Oh, you're going to
right,
be marketing director in charge of this, that, and the other. And it turns out you're just the person making copies or some
right,
nonsense. So the fact that you're in alignment with what you want to do and that your job shadowing is exactly what they will be doing, that's pretty phenomenal.
right.
So after they've done the virtual interview and they've done the writing assessment, the job shadowing, and written a paper about that, is that it? Is that all there
Right.
is?
Not yet. Last one. So a lot of people probably quit. Like this, oh, this sucks. This is not what I think that easy for the internship. Then a lot of people may quit. A lot of people may don't want to do it, and some may want to do it. So not yet. So the last one. So I just be honest with you, like I interview every day, so for positions. So one position probably like 100 people to apply for one position, and we interview hundreds people for 1-2 positions. So the last round is the final round. So we call it's only probably like 10% get into the last round, final round. Those people I really like. I really think they're probably more likely 70% of those times the final round people will get the job. So final round is really meet with my advisor board, one of my advisors. So we're talking really behavioral questions, really go deep into the job. The first one we talk about, interest, the goal, the assessment really test about the writing skills, those kind of hard skills. The last one will be really other kind of skills, such like we do a role play, right? I'm the student, you're advisor. Let's do a role play together. Let's see how you interact. I put some really people think it's crazy or nonsense things, such like student overwhelmed, student stressed out, crying in the middle of class. What do? How you handle those situations? They're college students, they may not have a lot of experience, but they have common sense, right? So we just want to see if that common sense kind of make sense when they're dealing with students. So we do a lot of role plays and a lot of at the whiteboard also ask some questions. Just really lay back to how more deep about this career and for this positions. So this is our final round will look like.
So how long is that process from
Yeah,
applying through all of these steps till they finally get hired on as an
right.
intern? How long does that
So
take?
1.5, like 1 month half. It take a long time. I mean, this is why like people tell me, oh my God, how you do that? How you be able to take care of that? This is why we recruit the whole year long. So we're making sure we don't hire 5 6 interns, we hire twice, two per semester. So yeah, I mean it take 1 month half to totally onboard, because when they onboard, they gotta go into the background check, like public education, you went to army, that they gotta go to deep background check process too. So it takes like a 1 month to 1 month half to get into this position.
Gotcha. So 30 to 45 days it takes to run through this whole process. And I
Yeah,
imagine the final result is someone that wants to be there, that's competent,
right.
has the
Mm-hmm.
hard skills and soft skills you need, and they've done the work. So by the time they get there,
Yeah,
they're interested, they're part of the team, and
right,
they're ready to get going.
right. And they know what it takes. They know it's challenging, but they know it's rewarding. And then almost 90% students successfully complete it and continue get another job really quickly. Yeah, so I mean, this is you got to put the hard work first. And a lot of people sometimes they say, oh, this is too much work. I don't want to do it. But you got to pay back later. When you come in, oh, it's not what you're saying. I don't want to fire people when they're coming in. I want them to success. So this is why I'm really picky first. So I don't want to be like angry face with it. So
That's crazy. It sounds like you really care deeply about your organization, the process that people want to go to, and you want people along for the ride that care as much as you do.
right. Yes, yes. And now I want a lot of not a lot of students getting involved in the nonprofit after graduation. And this is our goal to promote, the future leaders, future leader for nonprofit. You know, it's really sad, Travis. A lot of people don't want to get into nonprofit. Nonprofit, no money, sucks, like I want to work for corporate, I want to make a bigger money really quickly. This is wrong thinking. So this is why we want to promoting the right way for people really understanding nonprofit. You can surviving, you can doing right. You know, like people think I think people thinking wrong about nonprofit sometimes.
Yeah, they really do. It's a lot of work, but it's work worth doing. There's a lot of benefits,
Right,
not always financial or monetary benefits, but really building yourself up as a person and building your community has far reaching and longer lasting effects than just working in some kind of corporate job making the next drug or next big product or whatever the thing is. But switching away from that a little bit, you're doing some work with refugees now, I understand.
right, right. Yeah, I mean, we've been doing with refugee. Like we call immigrant students, refugees part of immigrants, right? So I mean, yeah, we always working with refugees, part of like 70% of our population. So
Yeah, it's interesting. I know that immigrants and refugees, it's not really common, I don't know, conversation in the US. The vast majority of people that I talk to really talk about immigration on our southern US border. But, growing up in Minnesota, like we had a large population of Somalians. And I've been
right.
looking around a website called rcusa.org and getting some different stats. I'm here in Oklahoma and we've
Hmm.
got refugees from Burma, Iraq, Eritrea, and Syria. People in Minnesota, they've got Somalians, Burma, Ethiopia, Iraq, Bhutan. You're in Ohio. and you've got
Right.
refugees from Bhutan, Congo, Somalia, Syria, now Afghanistan coming in.
Right.
And in California, they've got Iranians, Iraqis, people from the Congo, Syria, and Afghanistan as well. There's huge population of refugees in the U.S., but these different communities where they show up, and it's not hitting national news. So it's not
No.
really been in the main conversation of the U.S., but just in local little pockets. And it's interesting. Like I'm in Oklahoma, and most people would assume that the second most popular language spoken here would be Spanish. Well, it's actually Vietnamese. In fact, I've got
Right.
a young man that interns with me that makes my audiograms and does a few different things. He's from a Vietnamese family, lives in my neighborhood here.
Right.
And most people wouldn't guess that just by looking at him. We have a large Native American population, we've got a large Hispanic population. But after a regular white dude, actually Vietnamese is the next biggest population in Oklahoma. And those people that think that immigration is a problem, and maybe they disagree with illegal immigration, and I can't, that's hard to argue against that, but immigration is part of the fabric of who we are as America. They're everywhere. All of us are here from somewhere else. And I don't know why there's such a problem, but I love what you're doing with the refugee population in Ohio.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So, what's on the horizon for ISSA?
I mean, ISS is growing really quickly. Start with 2019 with one or two students. Right now we have over 100 students. Every year it grows to bigger number. This is why hiring from the right people, right team is extremely important for us right now at the moment. And we just get into our Khalifa Manchu School District, Thomas Jefferson Newcomer School, which is one of the largest a newcomer refugee school in Ohio, probably. How is in Ohio? Like they only have several of the called international newcomer schools. Cleveland is one of them. And we are getting to a really large school district. And that is really, it can be challenging, but a lot of impactful at the same time. And right now we try to working with try to creating called VR lab, virtual reality lab, working with our CTE program, the district, try to making this impactful for immigrant students getting the VR, using VR to helping them to for the career tech CTE program. VR can really help you support them when they're doing certain weldings, electricians, additional activities they can do at the VR can help them to learn. And we also want to continue, we are also can benefit for American students when this lab exists. So right now we try to work on those kind of things, and we also I'm part of the public policy committee called NIP, NAPE. I don't know how to spell the whole thing. Called National Partnership Equity. It's one of the largest organization for equity, equal equity educations. And but right now we try to working with a bill. People talk about $3.5 trillion bill. Talk about getting education, community college education free. And another part, the big part is talk about refugees. Refugee never, immigrants to the immigrant in general, refugee travelers, as you say, people never really pay a lot of attention because never on, as you say, never on the national news, anything like that. But because right now what happened in the Middle East in Afghanistan really caused people start thinking, right? They want to support more refugees, and they're a great worker. If you train them, get them right, they can be a really great workforce for America in general. So we try to working with that bill that specific for refugee for myself to really see what kind of language we can put into the bill, what kind of thing we can put in there can benefit for refugees. So right now, as I think we are not only to support students, support school district, but also want to be part of the I call advocacies. Really try to working with the policies, understanding the policies, understanding how we can making our immigrant students have a better future in two perspectives, right? Education part and the policy part. I think we don't make policies, but we can have voice about the policy, about immigrants, about education in general.
Well, I tell you what, Howard, I really love what you're doing with ISSA. I appreciate that you're sharing with us your rigorous internship screening program. I think more nonprofits need to take a harder look at the people they're bringing on board. Malcolm Gladwell says having the right people on the bus is vital for the success of your organization. And as I'm saying Malcolm Gladwell right now, I don't think it was him from the book that I read, but whatever. Somebody not named me said you
Right.
got to have the right
Right,
people
right,
on the bus to get the
right,
right work done.
right.
It really means a lot to me that you're working on the education and policy to help immigrants, whether they're here by choice or by refugee status, to help make an impact in the greater vision and the greater dream that is America here. We don't have all the kinks ironed out yet. We're still trying to figure out exactly what this thing is going to look like. But I'm glad that
Right.
you're working on it. Thanks so much, Haowen, for being my guest today. Where can people find you?
So people can go to our website, right? www.internationalstudentsvc.org, www.internationalstudentsvc.org. And when you go into our website, it has a lot of resources. And if your organization needs additional support on youth development for your immigrant students, feel free to contact us. Any questions, we always willing to help any immigrants in general. If you have questions about your students, if you are students, any concerns, we also want to help, and we try our best. If we don't know the answer, we find the answer for you. We provide additional resources for your answers. So yeah, and people also can follow us on Instagram. And then you can go into our website and have Instagram tab. Click, you can click, they can directly into our Instagram page or Facebook page.
That's fantastic. Get more information at internationalstudentsvc.org. Howen would love to chat with you and figure out more about your needs. And if you can't figure out the problem, he'll direct you to someone that can help you. Thank you so much, Howen, for being part of my show today.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you.